Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, I thank you for clicking my face on this lovely internet screen. As the title goes, I know you see the title and you're like, I am going to be telling you a story that is kind of heavy on my heart with Ariana Grande's new song coming out, acting on her past relationships. It makes me want to finally open up and tell my story. I have talked about it a little bit on my Twitter. If you're not following it, make sure you go ahead and follow that. I wanted to just bring it to my YouTube and tell my story because I do know that it could probably help somebody out there who might be going through the same thing. Just want to hear someone else's story to feel like they're not as alone. That's why I'm here to share. And again, my grandma's probably like, bitch, why are you sharing that? Oh my gosh, do not post this. I feel like my story could help somebody out there, and if it can, why not share it? Okay, this is where I was at age 22. Enough rambling, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video. Oh, and by the way, I am feeling sick right now. Like, I feel super, super shitty right now, and that's why my voice sounds the way that it does. So please ignore it. I'm sure I sound like a dying cow right now, but again, please just ignore it. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call my ex David. I don't want to blast him and post his real name or anything of that line because I don't want any negativity going to him. I'm past that mad phase feature. I'm just focused on growing and healing myself right now. So I'm going to name him David so nobody can find him, kill him, or anything like that. So I met David at work, which is one of the number one things that you're not supposed to do. It's really, really, really hard to date one of your coworkers. However, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm grown now, and dating him working with me isn't going to be a conflict. And boy, was I fucking wrong. My mom told me numerous times, do not date a coworker. I've done it before him, and didn't go the best. However, with him, I was like, okay, this will be different. Like, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for anything. It just happened to happen. And David started dating, and I was with him 24/7. At work, we'd go to work together. When we were both off, we'd pull up on each other at work and just talk and like be together all the time. He had his own apartment, so I would be over at his house a lot, and we'd sometimes go to work together or leave work together every single day, which caused a lot of tension and turmoil in our relationship. Being with someone all the time is not easy. Even married couples need their space and their time to be apart and grow and, have time for themselves to go out and do shit that they like. There's married women who go to the gym or go random places, do yoga or go paint or something, but they always have their time on their own. Before I started dating David, I did notice some things that could be a problem down the line. He had really, really bad anger. He had a super, super quick temper. I had never really dealt with someone who had an anger problem like that, but I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can help him and I can help him grow out of this and fix this. And that was another problem. You can't really save anyone. You can't help anyone change. Yeah, you can make them better, but they're going to have to want it for themselves. And I shouldn't have felt like I could just change David. However, I really liked him, and we were, in a relationship. So I was like, well, we can work on this. This is something you can acknowledge. And he did acknowledge it. He acknowledged that he had an anger problem. He had known that he had an anger problem his whole life. I was thinking, well, maybe he wants to change it. He's expressing that he knows he has a problem. He'll want to change it. So I thought that I could save him, which was not a good thing to think because it's hard to place that responsibility on yourself in a relationship. You're no one's mother, and it's draining when you essentially try and help somebody and save them and constantly fix them, and you have to constantly coddle and make sure that you're addressing their emotions all the time when they're kind of not really aware of their emotions on their own. That caused a lot of problems as well. We were okay in the beginning. We were, going on dates. We were fine. Everything was good. And then I noticed that David had a bit of a drinking problem. Drink all day, literally. And again, I'm only 22 and he's my age as well. And you don't really see too many. Maybe there are a lot of alcoholics. I'm just in my own fucking bubble or something. However, he was a functioning alcoholic, to the point where you barely could tell when he was drunk or not, but there was little things that would make you know, okay, he's drunk right now, and this isn't really him. And that's how I always justified it. Like, I remember early on bringing it to my mom, like, yeah, he has an anger problem, and I think he has a drinking problem as well. And she was like, not run away from him immediately. She was like, well, is he going to fix it? What is he going to do to fix it? She didn't immediately judge and be like, okay, well, get out of that because he's got a drinking problem. You can't fix that. She was really more so trying to make sure that he wanted to fix it for himself. And I noticed that early on. And when he would drink, he would get very, very angry. Like, when he was sober, he can get angry about small things, but it wasn't always directed at me. When he was drunk, he was like super, super insecure times 10. Like, he constantly thought that I was cheating, or he just got super paranoid and jealous when he was drinking. And I didn't do anything at this point. I was like a hermit crab. I was always at home waiting on him. If he was at work, I was at his house waiting on him to get off, or I didn't hang out with my friends really. I neglected my friends essentially. I was always just waiting on him. I did that for myself. Not because he told me to stay home all the time, because it just felt easier to not go anywhere, so I didn't have to deal with the arguments. Or like, even at home, he would still be like, okay, you're cheating and you're out here messing with people. He would get belligerently angry when he was drunk, and he would just call me outside of my name, and he'd call me a bitch and a whore and you're a slut and you're fucking people. And I had never been in a relationship where someone ever called me out of my name. So that, for starters, I acknowledged, like, that was like, this is domestic violence, like, this is verbal abuse, this is not okay. And I've helped my friends out of relationships where they were getting hit and beat. So in my head, I was like, okay, well, this will never happen to me. Like, I would never let someone hit me. I would never allow someone to put their hands on me. That's what I consider domestic violence and domestic abuse, like someone physically hitting you. But brainwashing and mental, making you feel less than what you are is a sign of abuse, and it's not okay, and you shouldn't have to deal with that at all. One should have to deal with that. That was like the first sign, and every time he would do that or call me outside of my name or get really, really drunk and jealous, he would always apologize, and I would always like linger on the fact that, okay, he was drunk, like, he didn't mean that. He was drunk. This isn't him. When he's sober, he's fine. And this continued on and on. He would do it, he would do it again and again. He would apologize, and then he would turn around and do it again. Yeah, had like a narcissistic personality point where, like, he would always feel like his answer was the right answer. And for the sake of not wanting to argue all the time, like, it was just draining. Always just let him win, just to not have to keep arguing. And I felt like I was burning myself out trying to explain myself constantly. For having somebody hear your side of things, it was always his way or no way, essentially. And that was fucked up. Like, it really screwed with my head, because it made you feel like you weren't smart or competent enough to think for yourself. So that's when things really started changing, and it started becoming like, okay, this might not be what I need to be in. And every time I would bring it to him and tell him, like, okay, this isn't right. Like, I shouldn't have to be dealing with this. I shouldn't have to feel like this in a relationship. I should be happy. Like, I shouldn't have to feel so bad about myself all the time, from the words that you would say. And he would always have an excuse, like, well, if you wouldn't have set me off, I wouldn't have done it, or I wouldn't have said this if you didn't do this. It was always my fault. Until one day it got really, really, really scary. It got really scary for me. Anytime he got really drunk and mad, he would always hit random items or break random items and slam doors or punch walls and, break closet doors, things of that nature. But this is the first time where he was angry and mad and took it out on me. Night before the day took place, we had went out with his friends, bar/club, a good time, and it was just, everybody was having fun. And when he would get drunk, he would kind of be a party pooper. When you're drinking, you're supposed to be fun and happy. He would have fun in the beginning, and then something would set him off to where he would just ruin the whole night. We're having a good time and everything's fine and dandy, and then he just gets pissed at me, mad at me. And his friends were trying to calm him down, and when he was mad, he was mad. There was no talking him out of anything. He was going to make you know that he was mad about something. He would keep going on and on and on. Even after you apologized, even after you said, I'm sorry, I'm finished. Like, okay, can we stop arguing? He would make sure he beat it in your head that he was pissed off and this is why he was pissed off. His friends were like trying to calm him down, like, stop talking to her like that. Like, you don't need to talk to your girl like that. Like, this is disrespectful. This is not okay. Like, no one needs to deal with this. And he just kept going on. So everything calmed down when we got back home and we were good. And the next day, I had to go to my brother's graduation, and I didn't have my car at the time. So I needed him to drop me off at my mom's house so I could go to the graduation. And he got mad. I think we might have argued again in the morning or something about something. I don't even remember what it was. But he was just like a whole different person. And he was already drunk at this point. It was probably like 9:30 in the morning or something like that. He was taking me home, and he gets so fucking pissed, and he's just like, he would get pissed and slam the brakes like he had done it multiple times before. So you're like bobbing your head, like, like about to fucking hit your head on the dashboard, and that's how he would take out his anger. But this time, instead of like slamming the brakes and doing what he usually does, he was going fast as hell. He was running through red lights. Not looking both ways while running the red lights, and just going zoom fast, like zoom, 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 pass through the red lights. And I was in tears, like crying, like, please let me out of here. Like, I really thought that I was going to die this day. So he pulls up at a gas station, and I immediately get out the car. I'm bawling, I'm crying my eyes out, and I'm like, I'm finished with you. Like, this is it. I'm done with you. I'm done. And anytime we would argue, I would always run back home. I would run home and pack my stuff, have my car packed up with things. I remember having my car with stuff in it for like 2 weeks because I got tired of moving it back from his house and to my mom's house and moving it back because he apologized. And this time I knew that I was finished because at this point my life was in danger and it was scary. So I'm in tears. I'm sitting on the ground crying my eyes out. And he knew at this point that I was finished with him and I was done with him and I was not going to be with David ever again. And he was begging and pleading and, screaming for me to come back in the car. Like, I'm sorry. I won't do this again. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. He's slamming his car. I think he ends up breaking his speaker in his car door. And I'm just bawling, crying on the phone with my mom, telling her to come pick me up. Like, please come pick me up. And of course, she's freaking out. She's like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm telling him, like, you need to leave before my mom gets here. You need to go before my mom gets here. If anyone has a mom, they know. Oh, if anyone has a mom, what the fuck? If anyone has a mom. Everyone with a mom knows that your mother does not take any shit when it comes to their kids. And I knew he needed to be gone before my mom got here or things were going to be hellacious. He insisted on staying until my mom got there. I don't know why. He thought that was a smart idea, but he did. And my mom ends up pulling up and she's like screaming at him, like, leave her the fuck alone. Don't ever talk to her again. Like, don't hit her up again. And that was it. So from there, I'm still like, oh my God, I'm crying. I love him. And my mom was like, why do you talk to him? Like, why are you still with him? She had told me at this point, because I would tell her, like, when he would get pissed and stuff. And he made me feel like it was my fault for telling my mom things. Like, he told me verbatim, he said that I only tell my mom about the negative things and never the positive things. So that's why she has the idea of him that she does. And I considered this in my head. I was like, okay, yeah, that's true. Like, it's my fault. Like, I don't tell my mom anything positive about this guy. But little did I know, and what a lot of domestic abusers do is they isolate you from people you can run and tell. They isolate you from your lifeline, your friends, your family. They make you feel like, okay, no, they're the blame. It's not me. They're the ones to blame. And this is what he was doing. So me and my mom were having a rocky road. We were having arguments all the time. We weren't happy at this point. Tells him to never hit me up again. And at that point, that was the final straw. And he ended up going to rehab. And while he was at rehab, I felt like I didn't want to abandon him. At this point, I was still trying to make things work because I still was in that cycle. Like, okay, I love him. He didn't mean it. He was drunk. Even with my life being in danger, like at this point, I still did not see it for myself. I was like, I want to be with him. I love him. I want to marry him. And I tried to make things work. So while he was in rehab, I thought that we would be back together when he got out and things like that. But while he was in rehab and working on his self, I was back home working on myself too. And I'll insert a clip of me breaking down. Because I try to bring myself to do things and I can't. Because my head is just so fucked up. And I want to do the things that I love to do. But I just can't bring myself to do them anymore. And then the stress of not accomplishing anything fucks me up each time. And it's just miserable. Like, I can't even look at myself right now. And I hate it so much. Because I used to be able to look at myself. And this is the point where I knew I will never ever put myself in a situation like this again. I used to say I don't understand how anyone can stay in an abusive relationship. But once you're in a situation like that, it's a mental thing. It's hard to get out, but you have to know the signs and you have to know that you deserve better than that, and you deserve someone who's going to treat you the way that you need to be treated and treat you like, I'm not saying always cater to you and call you the queen that you are and princess and oh my god and always or kissing your ass or anything, but are going to treat you the right way, and you deserve that. End of that. And I went through first initially a phase of breaking down, and I was so depressed. I didn't leave my house. I was crying. I had super dark thoughts, and I just was not myself. I felt ugly all the time from being called ugly. He would call me ugly. You're a bitch. You're a whore. Why do you wear wigs? He would blast me and make me feel so less than. But in turn, he would guilt trip me, and he'll say, I know you're going to leave me and you're going to find somebody better than me and you deserve better than me. And he would say, you deserve better than me. And I would always be like, well, no, I love you. And you always feel like you have to shower them and feel good. And when you're dealing with someone who's insecure and doesn't feel good about themselves. I didn't grow up seeing that. A lot of people who are in domestic abuse relationships grew up seeing either their mother in a situation like that or their dad doing that to their mother. But I didn't grow up raised like that. My parents didn't ever argue in front of us. They always took it to their room and made sure that they weren't bringing it to us. So this was my first experience being in it myself, and it changed my whole outlook on the whole domestic violence relationship and how a woman is in a domestic abuse relationship. I used to always judge women like, you're so dumb for staying in a relationship like that. But once you're in it, it's so hard to get out. But once you first see the signs and acknowledge it, you cannot change somebody. They have to want to change for themselves. It's not your responsibility to be someone's therapist. Yes, it's okay to be a helping hand and provide advice to people and give them some input on things, but they have to want to change for themselves, and you cannot do it for them. You can't have to want it for themselves. So anybody who is in a relationship like that right now, I say that you need to reach out for help. Ask a friend and advice. What I did was I made sure that I didn't tell my friends about what I was in until the end, because I didn't want anybody to judge me. I didn't want anybody to tell me to basically get out when I knew that I needed to get out, because I felt like they were just telling me, But really, your friends always are going to have your best interest. And I wish that I would have told somebody. But now I am single. I've been single for a few months now. So used to always being in a relationship. And this is the first time getting the time out to just focus on myself. Been working and I've just been making sure that I get myself better. And now I'm ready and I'm back ready to post more and I'm feeling myself again and I'm feeling like myself. I will say if you're in a situation like that, it does get better once you make the step to get better for yourself. And you have to do it for yourself. You have to. Because who's going to do it for you? You only have yourself. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you're still here till the end, please like, subscribe, comment, follow me on my social media so I can talk to you guys outside of YouTube. And thank you so much for the love that you showed me on my last videos. I know I haven't been consistent and I do apologize about that, but I want to say that I was just focusing on self-growth and making sure that I had my mental health right, because it's so important. So with that being said, I love you guys and thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.